and welcome to my reading Edgedancer by Brandon Sanderson for the first time reading vlog. Now originally I was going to put this in with Oathbringer, but quite frankly Oathbringer's over 1,000 pages long and Edgedancer's like 130 pages long as well. So I just thought, why not make it into its own separate mini reading vlog? So let's get into it. This one is apparently going to be about Lift, who we met in the interludes of Words of Radiance, so this is going to be quite interesting because I think she's going to become a more main character in Oathbringer, because you're supposed to read this after Words of Radiance but before Oathbringer, so it's an exciting concept. I can't wait to see where this one goes, and hopefully it's going to be finished relatively quickly because it's a relatively short novella. Well, it's 130 pages, so that shouldn't be too hard to read, fingers crossed. I've got to admit, I really like Lift as a character because she's just so like childlike and innocent in a lot of ways, but at the same time she's so resourceful and clever. Like, I've just gotten through chapter 3 where she's gone into the city and stuff like this, and how she's like really upset the people at the immigration port and everything else, and I found that really quite interesting, quite funny. I really love how she runs on food as well. I really like sort of that exploration of her power without her really sort of realising that it's vital to her powers, I guess you could say. And I love that Wendell has kind of said that he is her shard blade, but she hasn't clicked on that. Also, they did mention at the beginning with the immigration officers like a god king, and I'm just like, is that a reference? Is it not a reference? That feels a bit like a reference. I don't know, that could just be me, but it felt a bit referencey. So Lift has said that her food powers, sort of like the powers she gains from eating, runs out after a couple of hours, and I'm just, that doesn't happen to everybody else, like when they eat food and stuff, and I'm just wondering if it's slightly like Mistborn, where they ingest the metals and even if they don't use them they burn out after a couple of hours. I'm just wondering, is this some kind of subtle connection? Does this work the same sort of way as Mistborn does? Maybe, I don't know, I'm just guessing at the moment, but I'm just thinking maybe it's a connection, maybe. I'm probably wrong, but I'm occasionally right on these things, but I'm just wondering if that's maybe a Mistborn connection. Maybe it's just like their powers work in a similar way. Maybe. It's getting awfully dark in here. I swear I have the lights on, but so Darkness and co are the Skybreakers, and they called him Nin, which is the name of Nalan the Herald. That can't be good. That's the only thing I'm coming up with, is that's not good at all. This is going to end badly, because if they're that like trying to kill all of the other like Surge Binders and the rest of the Knights Radiant to stop the Voidbringers, that's going to be another set of people that Kaladin and everyone's going to have to battle. And it's like, ooh, this is getting very interesting. I wasn't sure about this like short story going into it, but I'm enjoying it at the moment. It's coming up with some very interesting things. There are some very interesting things coming out of this like now, and seeing that we've now got Skybreakers are now involved, and it is also nice to sort of see a bit of obviously Darkness and what he's up to, along obviously with Lift. So that library place that Lift has gone to just reminds me a lot of the one that Jasna and Shallan were in as well. It's clearly not the same place because obviously the place name is different and the description's different, but it just kind of reminds me of the same thing. I don't know if that's a connection. It's probably not a connection, but I'm just looking for connections at the moment because you have to with Sanderson. Got to admit, the fatphobic comments about the scribe, not enjoying those. Like, I understand that Lift is like a child and she is quite sarky in that sense, but at the same time, is there really a need to put fat phobia in and then not address it and say that this is wrong or anything? Surely someone should have said, oi, don't say that, at the very least, but nobody did. Lift is rather lucky to have, obviously, the Emperor Gorks, I'm going to say his name is Gorks, on her side. She's seriously lucky, otherwise I'm pretty sure she would have been dead about 10 times over by now. It's because he just gets her out of all of this trouble, and it's like, she's seriously lucky to have him. Seriously lucky to have him on her side. I wonder why Seth, or whatever his name is, the assassin in white, didn't kill Lift when he saw her. I've no idea why he didn't, because usually he would have just probably killed her after seeing her and stuff like this, seeing as he probably can figure out that she's the one the darkness is looking for. Maybe that's why he hasn't killed her. I don't know. I was not expecting that man to be buggy, shall we say. I was not expecting that whatsoever. Just, what the hell was that? Like, we've never had that before, so that was a bit like, what is that? Because that's never happened in any Cosmic book, if I remember rightly, so that's a bit, you know, creepy. But also, the fact that Stump is the Radiant, not expecting that either. I was thinking maybe one of the kids or someone like that, but not Stump. I was not expecting it to be Stump. Again, Brandon Sanderson's done it with the plot twists. He's done it again. Okay, so I've just finished Edgedancer. That was surprisingly quick, actually, but because it's a Brandon Sanderson, so I was expecting it to take a lot longer, even though it was a novella, and I actually really quite enjoyed that one. I got to admit there was a lot of stuff I didn't see coming, like obviously the buggy guy and like Darkness's reaction to stuff. I didn't see Stumper being a nice Radiant either, but I really liked how this one wrapped up. I really like Lift as a character. I feel like I appreciate her a lot more now that I've gotten to know her a bit better. I really like more the world building that comes out in this, and us actually seeing like more cities and places around like in this world and stuff like this. I really like the fact that you've got Lift sort of discovering her powers, and it's from like this childlike point of view, and I really like that. But also, was there just a Mistborn reference in there? Because Wendell says that he has to turn into some kind of metal, and there is a connection to metal, and obviously that is Mistborn's all about the metal, and I'm just wondering, was that a reference? Because obviously you've got Lift saying that her powers run out when she gets hungry and they burn out quite quickly like they do in Mistborn, and also it's the connection to metal, and I'm just wondering, is that a reference to Mistborn, or am I reading too much into it? And I mean, I know that this is starting to tie in together. Obviously you've got the Warbreaker sword with Seth, the assassin in white now, but I'm now just wondering if the metal's also tying into this. If so, how's Elantris going to come into this as well? Obviously you've got Hoyd tying it all together, but I'm just wondering if that's like the only connection, or are there going to be more? Are we slowly going to start seeing hints from like Elantris and things like that in this? I don't know, but so far that was really, really interesting. I really liked that as a novella. I feel like it's opened up a lot more questions, but also answered a couple of questions at the same time. I really liked seeing a different like section of this world, of the Stormlight Archive. I loved getting to know Lift a little bit better. I liked knowing about a few more factions of the Knights Radiant, and generally I just really enjoyed it, so I'm going to give it a 4 stars. I feel like I couldn't give it 5 stars because of the fatphobic comments, and also because, this is going to sound weird, it felt too short. That doesn't make sense because it's Sanderson, and I should be happy that Sanderson's short, like written a short book, but it just felt slightly too short for me, and maybe it could have had a few more bits in there, but I can't really complain because short Sanderson is what I am really happy with at the moment, because I'm about to go into Oathbringer, which is over 1,200 pages long, so I'm not going to complain too much, but essentially it was a 4 stars. And with that, I'm going to end this video here, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below with what you thought of Edgedancer when you read it for the first time. I'd love to know. I'll also leave a link down below to all my social media if you want to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics. And if you want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here with the link to my previous video. But until next time, everyone, bye!